are Grace Rodriguez. I'm allowing you to talk right now, and you can feel free to unmute yourself and start public comment. Our Grace Rodriguez. You are muted. I'm trying to unmute you and it's not working. I think that you're going to need to unmute on your side. For whatever reason, I'm not able to unmute you. I'm going to guess it probably popped up that said I was trying, and I think you'll have to unmute yourself to be able to make public comments. I'm going to give you a little bit more time, and then I'll go to the next person and come back after. So we'll just see if you're able to do it. Okay. I'm going to move to the next person, and we will come back to our Grace Rodriguez. The next person on the list is Teresa Priem, and I'm going to, Teresa, I'm going to promote you to a panelist for your public comment because it says you're using...
came back.
Oh, okay. Hang on. We're going to do public comment with you, our Grace Rodriguez, and then we will move on to Teresa. And Teresa, I'll tell you what's going on when we get to you. Okay, go ahead with your public comment.
Thank you. My name is Renee Grace Rodriguez. I'm a stakeholder for my substantial membership and involvement with the Indivisible Northridge organization. And I'd like to point out that Article 2, subsection 4 states that it is in fact the mission of the Neighborhood Council to provide a forum for public discussion of issues and to advise the City of Los Angeles on issues concerning governance. And in light of the corruption scandal that has potentially reached across all the city boundaries, matters which are of citywide interest. This is definitely a matter of citywide interest. The city attorney has no authority to dictate the Neighborhood Council's agenda items. Specifically, see Article 8, Section 2. It says that stakeholders may make a proposal for action by the council by submitting a written request. This was done, and it was proposed. It was sent to an executive committee to vote on it, and they voted that it should come to the main board. So the council is in fact required to consider the stakeholder proposal, and they are subject to rules regarding reconsideration. This was all done and voted to bring to the full board. You have a duty to discuss this issue, 11E, and let the board decide if they will accept the city attorney's position. Let the board members go on record that they've agreed with the city attorney that they don't want to discuss it or without jurisdiction, so that we can have a finding of that fact. If it's not, you guys have to make that decision. But I don't think it's something that unilaterally any particular individual on this board has the right to decide whether it gets discussed or not. It must get discussed, because the mission, after all, is to provide a forum for public issues, and this is a highly important issue to many of the stakeholders in the community. Again, I'd like to point out that the president's decision to not bring this stakeholders' request to a full board discussion is in violation of Article 5, Section 5, Duties and Powers, which specifically states that no individual member of the board shall speak for the board or otherwise publicly represent a board position unless authorized to do so by official action by the board. No one has given the president the authority to unilaterally remove an agenda item. So as far as I can see, without that board authorization, this item should have been brought up for consideration and for action. Thank you for letting me consider my comments.
Thank you.
Oh, okay, maybe that was from the meeting of timer.
Okay, so our next person is Teresa Priem, and Teresa, because you're using an older version of Zoom, I'm going to promote you to panelist. I'm not sure what's going to happen then, but then when you're done with your public comment, I'll move you back to attendee. So just so we're all in the know about what I'm going to do. So it'll take a second, and Teresa will come over to be a panelist so that she can make public comment.
And then Stephanie, the other folks, are showing up as panelists? Do they get moved back into?
I think that's just because they're allowed to talk. I don't think that that's because they're actually joined us as panelists. But I can make it so they're not allowed to talk again. And I think that will change that if we're okay, if that's what you want to do.
But just pretty soon this is going to get so filled up it'll go to the second page. So I think we should know who we're hearing from.
Okay.
So if you can do that, that would be good.
Yep, I'll work on that while Teresa gives public comment. Teresa, you can go ahead. I think it doesn't look like you're muted.
She's also not on the panel anymore. I don't see her. She was on, but it dropped off.
Oh no, Teresa, I'm still seeing
I see
you.
her. Yeah, I see Teresa.
Teresa, you should be able to go ahead with public comment. Barry, you might have gone to page 2.
She shows as being muted
Let me look.
on my screen anyway.
It's not muted on mine.
Still don't see her. Oh, there she is. Yeah. I see a chat. No, I just see a chat from her.
You seem fine.
I think she's dropped off.
She said she's going to log in again.
She sent the chat.
Okay.
She has to log in again.
So when Teresa comes back, we will do public comment with her. But in the meantime, to keep this moving, because there's so many of you, and we want to make sure that we hear all of you and don't keep you too long.